Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians and guests, it is with great pleasure and admiration that I stand before you today to introduce our distinguished speaker, Rikki Cooke. Rikki is not only a remarkable individual, but also the recipient of the 2021 Sunday Mail Inspirational Women of the Year, an accolade that speaks volumes about her unwavering commitment to serving our community. In 2022, Rikki's dedication was further acknowledged by the Governor of South Australia, who included her into the Women's Honour Roll, a recognition befitting her outstanding contributions. Today, we have the privilege of hearing Rikki as she shares her insights into her transformative work in supporting SA's most disadvantaged children. Rikki Cooke is not just a name. It is synonymous with compassion, resilience, and a tireless advocacy for the well-being of others. As a registered social worker, long-term foster carer, and a previous emergency care worker for the Department of Child Protection, Rikki brings a wealth of experience and a depth of understanding to her mission. As a single parent of 2 boys, Rikki's life journey, coupled with her academic pursuits, has fueled her determination and vision to create treasure boxes. This initiative reflects her beliefs that every baby, child and teen, irrespective of their circumstances, should have access to the essential resources they need, not just to survive, but to thrive. It is noteworthy that Treasure Box's founder, Rikki, now CEO, has been a beacon of hope and support for thousands of families every year. Rikki provides vital, practical and life-changing assistance precisely when it's needed most. Treasure Boxes has become a catalyst for positive change in the lives of many. Rikki's presentation today promises to shed light on the incredible work she and Treasure Boxes are doing to make a meaningful difference in the lives of many South Australians. Please join me in extending a warm Rotary welcome to Rikki Cooke.
I think you did my presentation for me. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for inviting me today. And I've been here, I came a few months ago as a guest of James, and it was such a warm, inviting environment. So I just want to thank you again for allowing me to come and speak to you today. I might start with running a quick video which will show you our warehouse and also talk a little bit about who we are and what we do. We've got 23,500 children right now in South Australia living under the poverty line. We had a 12-year-old girl a couple of weeks ago give birth to her first baby. And she's not even living with her caregivers anymore because she can't live with them. They kicked her out of the house. So now she's a 12-year-old girl with a baby with nothing. Another family with 4 children under 8 years old, they had 1 pair of sneakers between the 4 kids. It's heartbreaking on the front line to see and hear these stories. But the beauty of what we do is we offer a positive way forward.
We're here today to pick up pretty much everything for a mother at the moment. So high chairs, a bassinet, like bottles, clothing, nappies, everything.
That's what Treasure Boxes does. We take that beautiful community spirit of giving and we pass it out to the families that really need it. If you're a caregiver and you are charged with caring for your children, no matter how old you are, there's an expectation that you will provide for those children. And when you can't provide, there is so much guilt, shame. So what we do is we say, let's take care of that for you. Let's give you everything you need for the children so you can focus on just being a really good parent
Because you could be the best parent in the world, but if you don't have the means to look after your children, that's going to be a child protection concern. And so that's why we have a lot of kids in out-of-home care, especially Aboriginal children. This actually makes a big difference between keeping our children at home safe with their families, being able to provide these material needs alongside services that can come in and intensively support that family on how to actually utilise those things.
We're providing over $3 million worth of items to families every year. And that's $3 million. Those families don't have to find anymore because we're providing it for them. But it's also the money that our support agencies don't have to find either. So the Treasure Boxes model basically cuts out all that time and resource for social workers, so they really can focus on that really crisis acute attention that these families really need. They can come and get everything they need from us, or we can deliver it straight to the family, and caseworkers can do the really important work that they need to do. Everybody wants to do something to help. Everyone does. I don't care who you are. Treasure Boxes offers that platform to do something about the problem.
People who work here and volunteers here, they're not paid, they're here for free. And so that just shows me that we're supporting, an organisation coming in and utilising an organisation that has the heart for the community, which is so important, and they make such a huge difference in our families' lives.
What gets me up in the morning is the fact that we haven't reached every single child in South Australia that needs our help yet. And we have a long way to go. As we know, there's over 20,000 kids who are still living under the poverty line, and unfortunately we're seeing more and more cases coming through. So until that number reaches zero, we're not going anywhere.
So that's who we are. A little bit about who I am. So I'm a mum of 3 boys. So the ones in the red shirts are my biological boys. So I've got a big, hairy, moustache-ridden 27-year-old down the bottom there. I've got another young 12-year-old who's on the rowing team for Adelaide High School, which he's very proud about. And the young man in the blue shirt is my foster son, so he's just turned 16. So I've been a foster carer for about 12 years. I went to uni and got some degrees and worked as a social worker, and also worked in child protection. So child protection is where my heart lies. So for those who aren't aware of how the system works, a child's in an unsafe environment. They may get removed by SAPOL or care worker and put into emergency accommodation, which is where I lived. So the idea behind Treasure Boxes came because I got a phone call from my employer saying, we've just removed 4 kids. We want you to go down to Aldinga, wait for them and take care of them. So I got in my car and drove down to Aldinga. Got there in about an hour. At the same time, 2 police cars arrived and 2 other cars. And out of those cars came an 8-month-old baby and his 2-year-old, 4-year-old and 6-year-old siblings. So we had 4 kids all together. They were not happy, they were upset, they were wearing the clothes they had, and they got put into our care and off the police workers went. And we didn't have any extra clothes, we didn't have a change of nappies, we didn't have toys, we didn't have anything for these kids. And this went on and on and on for about 2 or 3 days. We had to, when they went to bed at night, we washed their clothes, so when they woke up, we had something to put on these kids again. And by about the 3rd day, I thought, this is ridiculous. Let's do something about this. So I called out to my friends and family and said, has anyone got some clothes or some toys that I can give to these guys? And the response was absolutely overwhelming. The next day I got home and my porch was so full I couldn't get in my front door because the community went, yes, we can help you. And that's what Treasure Boxes does. Basically, we have a community who want to help families, and Treasure Boxes is that vehicle. So we've been around for about 8 years. We're down in Edwardstown and in Davron Park now, and we provide the essentials for kids that are most disadvantaged in South Australia. So for those who don't know what this triangle is, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it basically says that if you can meet the bottom ones or the next ones, then all these other things sort of occur. But if you can't meet what's happening down the bottom there, which for those who can't see it says food, water, warmth, rest and safety, then none of the other things above it are actually going to happen. So the kids that we support who are living in homeless shelters, who are being removed by child protection, don't have access to food, water, warmth or a house to live in. I opened my email box last week, and within 10 minutes I got 3 referrals. The first referral was for a 14-year-old girl who'd just given birth to a baby and her 15-year-old boyfriend. And the department were trying to keep them together and needed a cot and car seat and pusher. But those 2 kids were living out of home. They were in a shelter and they'd just given birth to a baby, and we were here to help them. The second family was a family of 6. They'd been living in their car for 4 months. So mum, dad and 4 kids. I don't even know how that worked. But they couldn't get a rental property. They had put in over 50 applications to get a rental property and could not get anywhere to live, so they had to live in their car. By the time they got to us, they had found a rental accommodation, and we provided them with bedding and blankets and sheets and everything they needed. And the third one was from a young lady who'd just arrived at a domestic violence shelter in the middle of the night with her 2 kids, and she fled middle of the night because of the situation, and she needed everything. So we provided support for her as well. So the kind of things that we accept, if you're thinking about what you could donate, we accept anything that those caregivers would need to look after their babies. So cots, car seats, pushers, clothing, nappies, dinnerware, homewares. So for those who've got overflowing linen cupboards, you can give those things to us. Everyone's nodding. We support about 170 organisations across South Australia. So you'll see a lot of well-known organisations here. They're using our service to support their families. We've got SA Health. All the hospitals in South Australia now use our service. All the domestic violence shelters in South Australia now use our service. Lots of schools use our service as well. So we've got a lot of people that use our service. We stretch all the way across South Australia. So we might be supporting somebody here in Adelaide and their family's just come down from APY lands to get medical assistance and they don't have anything here. So we support them down to Port Lincoln and Mount Gambier. So part of my role is to talk about what's actually happening outside of our general bubble that we tend to live in, and myself included. We've got about 23,500 kids here in South Australia living under the poverty line. And it's the leading cause of disadvantage in our state. Almost 80% of the referrals we receive are families who can't afford the basic stuff. Homelessness, we've got nearly 8,000 people who are homeless in South Australia, which is huge. The ones that we tend to focus on is that bottom one. So over 1,000 kids under 9 years old do not have a safe place to call home. So they may be living in their car if they're lucky enough to have a car. Otherwise, they might be doing this wonderful thing called couch surfing or whatever, wherever they can lay their head. We had a referral last week with a family of people. There was 12 people in a 3-bedroom house, which is better than living in the elements, but it's still not ideal. We have domestic violence, I think, is very well known. I know that we had a rally. I attended a rally last week on the steps of Parliament about too many women passing away through domestic violence. And I note that a couple of hours ago there was another woman found. So it's happening. We need to do something about this. And in child protection, which again, where I sort of specialise, we've got 5,500 kids who can't live with their caregivers right now. So there's a huge epidemic happening, and we are trying our best to do something about it. So the good news is that we are doing something about it with community support, with corporate support, and we're making some pretty decent headway. About half the families we support are Aboriginal families. We know they're overrepresented in that homeless space and domestic violence space. We pass out a lot of stuff, nearly 15,000 items every year. So about 300 cots, about 3,500 clothing packs, lots of nappies and lots of other things. Because we're taking donations and we're recycling them, good quality items, we're also supporting the environment. So we're recycling about 2,000 tonnes every year and passing them out to families who really need them. So we're supporting families, organisations, the environment, and everybody's winning. We're not government funded, so we do all this without any government funding whatsoever. We're supporting about 1,300 families every year, over 3,000 kids. We're raising money, we're holding events, we're making a big impact. And yet we don't have any government funding. I'm working on it, but at the moment we don't. So the number one question is what can we do to help? What can you do to help? You can donate goods, so you can go through your linen cupboards, you can go through those car seats and things that you don't need anymore. You can come and donate whatever you have to us, and we'll pass it straight into the hands of a family in need. I think that's probably the best thing about our service is that we're a grassroots charity. We're not government funded. we turn $1 that's donated into $14 worth of value. And you give us a cot, and we're going to put that in the hands of a mum who just had a baby who doesn't have a cot. So that transparency is something we're really proud of. You can donate funds, and the funds at the moment, we've got a Christmas relief appeal. So whilst it's lovely to get presents and gifts under the tree, we're really supporting families who need that cot or don't have a bed to sleep in and need blankets. So you can donate to our Christmas relief appeal. Corporate giving is something we love, our corporate facilities. So you can come and volunteer. Grants to help us grow would be is also sensational. So just putting shelving in our warehouse helps us to do things better. And sponsoring key programs. So we have a domestic violence program. We have a regional program to help our Aboriginal families. We have a Safe Start program, so babies that are born without a cot can get support from us. You can fundraise. You can hold a bake sale if you like. I love that picture. This is one that I use for schools, and the kids get really excited when they see the donuts and bits and pieces. You can become a charity partner with us. Again, we love our corporates. I was just having a chat to Cam. Cooper's was one of our sponsors at our big gala a couple of weeks ago, and it is incredible to have that kind of support behind us. Charity partnerships and client initiatives. You may be involved in an organisation. I know that we have lots of real estate agents, and they every time, or one particular, when they sell a house, they do give the option to that client. So instead of putting that $10,000 in their pocket, they say, which charity would you like to donate that to? And we're part of that initiative, which is a great way to get some support. Workplace volunteering. If you are part of a workplace, you can come volunteer and literally pack a treasure box or jump in the car and donate, drop some of these items off to our families, or become one of our volunteers. So our volunteers, we've got over 200. Right in the middle there you see Cole, who is a non-verbal young man who's been with us for a couple of years. He comes with his carer every Wednesday, and he calls it coming to work, which is amazing. For a non-disability organisation, we have a high level. We've got over 15% of our volunteers have a disability. And Daryl over here is in our men's shed. So we've got a men's shed at Treasure Boxes, and we're part of the National Association for Men's Sheds. So as you can see here, he's fixing up one of our toys. They'll be assembling our cots, and if there's bite marks in the top, they sand it out, and they're very dedicated. So if you're handy with the tools, we'd love to see you at the warehouse. And the last part is tell people about us. So if you hear people talking about domestic violence or talking about child protection or helping families this Christmas, go, you know what, I know who you can go and support to make sure that your impact is felt on the ground. That's it from me. Thank you so much for your time. If anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to ask me, but if not, it means I've done my job well. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for me? Otherwise, I'm going to take a seat. Yes. There we go.
Sorry, could I ask about the referrals? So you mentioned you're not a government or government-supported initiative, but you essentially get information from, the way it sounded, kind of like government agencies that are involved in childcare protection. How do you deal with the privacy rules on these kind of things? It's like how do you actually make sure that does the person have to give, does the mother have to give consent, or how does it work that basically the government essentially tells a private organization that here's a person in need, basically go do something? Yeah, good question. We don't actually take any private details of clients at all. So a caseworker, for example, might put a referral in for 2 children they've just removed. We don't know who they are. The only thing we know about them is their age, so we can pack the right treasure box for them, and possibly their gender, but then again, these days it can be non-binary as well. We don't take any client details at all, and even then we do have a very strong backup security system just in case as well, because obviously in that domestic violence space, most of the time, they are in a location that can't be discoverable. Because of obvious reasons. We don't want that perpetrator going to find out where they are right there. So there's no identification whatsoever. The only kind of identity that may is if we have a delivery service, but we shred the details very, very regularly, if that makes sense. Yeah, good question. You must be in the sector, are you? No? There you go.
Rikki, thank you so much for such an inspiring presentation, and congratulations on your amazing work. When you talked about donating things like prams and cots and so forth, I know there's a lot of safety concerns around car seats, etc. Some of the larger charities won't even accept them as donations anymore. So can you just reassure everybody about how those things are funneled through your system?
Yeah, that's a good question. I forgot that part. So I think we're one of the only organisations that do actually take nursery equipment because the safety around it and Australian safety standards is so rigorous. But we have a stipulation that it has to be under 8 years old. Then for every single item that goes out, there's probably about 10 or 15 things we need to check off. Does the harness work? Does it have a red brake? It has to be assembled and de-assembled in our men's shed. And once it's met all of those safety standards, then we can pass it to a family. But we get some beautiful cots that are, it's raised all the grandchildren and it's 50 years old and it's beautiful, but we can't accept it. So, thank you. Good question, Jill. Thank you. Hello.
Amazing work. Thank you. I loved hearing your story. I have first-hand experience of these kids coming with just the shirt on their back. And I wonder if you could explain perhaps what is in your treasure boxes, because literally these kids come with clothes that once, even if you wash them, you probably wouldn't put back on them.
Yeah.
And they need more than just a set of clothes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering exactly what goes in them and how do you plan for all of the different ages? It must be a mammoth task.
Yeah, do you know what? My experience being a mum helped me design what a treasure box looks like. Going, okay, well, so in a treasure box of clothing, for example, I went, what do my boys need for 12 months? Because our treasure boxes of clothing will last a family for an entire year. So there's 7 t-shirts, 3 jumpers, socks, jocks, shorts, pyjamas, everything in there. So if we pass that box to a mum who's in a domestic violence shelter and then she moves on, at least for the next year, she's got everything she needs for an entire year for that child. So that's a treasure box of clothing. Our treasure boxes of toys obviously have the same kind of checklist. So we've got books and toys and cuddle things and soccer balls and all that kind of thing in there. So each treasure box has its own list of things that needs to go in there. But it's a long-term pack. So our friends at Backpacks for SA Kids, we work very closely together. So if you know Backpacks for Kids, they have a backpack which is immediate crisis, 1 or 2 days worth of just getting you through. We're sort of stage 2 where we're like, okay, for the next year, what do they need? They need a cot. They need a year's worth of clothing. Our shoe packs, I've got 4 or 5 pairs of shoes. So we'll have runners, sandals, boots, slippers and a pair of flip-flops. So it's designed for long-term support because a lot of our families move around. They might even go back to the perpetrator. But at least we know the kids are looked after. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Heidi.
Fantastic work that you're doing, and having actually been to your warehouse at Edwardstown, it is actually is eye-opening how much work you are doing.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering how you're getting out to regional and remote Australia, and if you're actually able to service those people living in those areas.
Yeah.
Do you transport some of your boxes and equipment up to, for instance, APY land or
Yep.
land or,
Yeah, good question. So the question was, how do we get our goods across the state into APY and Riverland and Berry? So we partner with Cochrane's Transport. Some of you may know Cochrane's. And so we can basically reach all corners of the globe. So in terms of, every couple of years I do a regional trip. I have to take myself up to Ceduna. That's a really long way away, really long way. And next week I'm heading over to Berry, so being in front of people and talking to them. But I think we've been around for 8 years and people are starting to get to know our service as well, which is great. We still have a long way to go, but the word's getting out there that we're a service that will support agencies to be more efficient, more impactful and reaching those far corners. Because in the APY lands you can't duck down to the shops and get some nappies or get some clothing or get a cot. So the fact is that, by using our service, we can probably get it up there in about 2 days. And putting a baby in a safe cot in a couple of days is better than them sleeping. And as a social worker, I remember walking into a house and seeing a brand new baby in a box. It had a pillow in the box, but the baby was in the box because there was nothing else. So that was the best that they could do. So yes, we're reaching all corners of the state and even into Northern Territory, up to Borroloola and into Alice as well. We're starting to creep up there as well. So my world domination plan is that we actually go all the way through the centre of Australia. But stay tuned. I'll come back next year and let you know how I went with that. Thanks, Heidi. Yeah, so we're a child-focused organisation. So we support newborns up to 18-year-olds. Up to 18, yeah. So, but I was at Salvo's this morning, Joanne's agency, and we're sort of extending that to about 25-year-olds as well. I've got to let you know, I had a great experience this morning when I dropped in to have a chat to the Salvo guys this morning. I walked in there and they're having, there was it must be a community event there, and there's probably 20 or 30 guys at the front there, and all having a great time and picking up some food and bits and pieces. And as I was walking up, this very happy guy, who clearly was struggling a bit, said, "Hello, miss, how are you?" I said, "Oh, good, thanks, how are you?" He said, "Yeah, I'm good, thanks." I said, "Okay, have a good day." And as I was walking, he's like, "I still got it." And I just thought that was so cute. I thought, he's obviously got nothing, but he's still got a great sense of humour, and he's still got it, apparently, which is great. Very cute. I'm going to be here for a little while, so if you'd like to come and say hi or talk about how you can partner with us or what you'd like to do, please come and say hello. Thanks, everyone.
Rikki, what a presentation, how inspirational. I just think, 9 years ago, what did these kids have? It warms my heart, but anyway. So we've got a gift for you. There's a couple of books here. There's a 100 Not Out and also a history book that some of our members have put together. So here's a gift for you, so thank you. All monies raised today go to our Rotary projects and youth projects, and your presentation makes that happen. So Rotarians, I invite you to stand, and in the usual Rotary way, let's thank Rikki.